This morning, an Australian kite surfer dies in a shark attack off New Caledonia. Malcolm Turnbull strikes back against chilling Islamic State propaganda about killing Australians. And wild winds lash WA, cutting power and damaging homes.
This is 7 News with Ann Sanders.
Good morning. A West Australian man has died after being mauled by a shark off New Caledonia's main island.
This is 7 News with Ann Sanders.
Good afternoon. These are our headlines today. Breaking news south of Sydney where a man has been shot in the face. Pictures just in as police search for the gunman. Shock revelations in court about Tiali Palmer's murder. Her foster brother, who is charged with incest, feared she might have been pregnant, and why her alleged killer is now in a coma. Also, a large warehouse fire in Perth may be the work of arsonists. A brain surgery breakthrough, making it easier for surgeons to remove cancerous tumours. And Hollywood's golden couple, Brad and Angelina, split after 12 years. Jim.
Thank you, Anne. Good afternoon, everyone. In sport, our women cricketers qualify for next year's World Cup. Also, the Cowboys arrive in Sydney ahead of their NRL showdown against Cronulla. And the Swannies and the Giants out to make history and a possible all-Sydney AFL Grand Final. Brownie.
Thanks, Jim. On the weather front, it's been a wet day along the eastern seaboard, and August 2016 globally was the hottest August ever. More detail in 10 minutes.
Tonight, injured workers left dangling after a crane collapses 25 floors up. Homes go under as floodwaters keep rising, threatening to cut a country town in two. Princess Charlotte's first royal tour, charming Canada with Big Brother George. And Sydney versus Melbourne, the cross-border battle for AFL and NRL Grand Final glory.
This is 7 News with Angie Azimus.
Good evening. 3 workers are in hospital, one in a serious condition after a crane collapse at a Sydney worksite.
Tonight, more gold in Rio.
And there it is.
The country girl who grew up on a cattle farm defies technical glitches for Olympic glory. Bronze for the men's relay team, and the war of words over Chinese swimming and drugs.
100 metre, I'm the king. Yeah.
Teenage prisoners escape their cells, now in a day-long standoff on the roof of the jail. Another sickening stabbing. A teenager knifed 14 times at Fairfield. Tonight he's fighting for life in hospital. National security fears threaten to wreck Mike Baird's multi-billion-dollar power sell-off. And exclusive, the Aussie treatment that actually cures nut allergies.
Live from our Sydney headquarters, this is 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. The Olympic medals keep coming, and even when the odds are stacked against us, we win gold.
Tonight's outrage at Vietnam's last-minute decision to cancel the commemoration of the Battle of Long Tan. 25 years jail for a coward who stabbed his ex-partner to death in Sunshine. A gamble pays off as an Australian sailor snatches gold in Rio. The tricky rescue of a truck driver trapped when he slammed into a bridge. And the moment a petrol bomber tank went wrong in Melbourne South.
Live from our Melbourne headquarters, this is 7 News with Peter Mitchell.
Good evening. Veterans in Vietnam for the 50th anniversary of the Battle of Long Tan are angry and confused tonight after the commemorations were abruptly cancelled.
On 7 News tonight, the police evidence that convicted the killer of pregnant Logan woman Joanne Ryder. Surprise gold as an Aussie sharpshooter holds her nerve in Rio. Mac Horton cops a barrage of hate from China as the doping row escalates. A mother's terror as an armed woman tries to steal her car with her toddler inside. And incredible pictures of a Queensland storm chaser leading tourists into Tornado Alley.
Live from our Brisbane headquarters, this is 7 News with Sharon Gadella and Bill McDonald.
Good evening. A man arrested over the rape and murder of a pregnant woman and the death of her unborn baby at Logan has been convicted of the shocking crime.
Tonight, from loving father to this. New details about the terrifying Hindley Street hostage drama. Calls for a car beach ban after 2 pedestrians are struck down by a P-plater.
It's only going to happen again unless something's done.
From jubilation to devastation, a nation in mourning after a terrible plane crash. And our supermarkets put to the test, where do you really get the best deal?
7 News with John Riddell.
Good evening. New details have emerged about the father at the centre of the terrifying hostage drama in Hindley Street.
Tonight, an 81-year-old grandmother suffers a stroke on her front lawn in Embleton. Police investigate claims she was pushed by an intruder.
A vital clue in the hunt for a brutal rapist on the loose in Perth's northeast.
Colin Barnett confirms plans to sell Western Power, but he maintains household bills won't rise.
Protesters shut down Question Time, supergluing themselves to the furniture.
Free the refugees!
And a long way from Freo, the Dockers find fans in our far north.
From the studios of 7 Perth, Susanna Carr and Rick Arden.
Good evening. We begin with the mystery of a Perth grandmother found badly injured in her front yard. Police are investigating whether she was attacked by an intruder. Tonight, the 81-year-old is in an induced coma in hospital, her family by her side.
This morning, ready to reopen, Dreamworld to unlock its gates tomorrow, just days after the ride tragedy.
Safety concerns, new questions about maintenance as the theme park defends its record.
Candlelight vigil, hundreds gather overnight to remember the lives lost.
Breaking news, earthquake strikes. Italy rocked just months after a powerful quake that killed hundreds.
Childcare shock, the search for answers after a baby dies at a daycare centre hit by a gastro outbreak.
Harry on ice, the Prince presented with skates by admiring fans.
Also this morning, the rise of the greypreneur, how you can join the revolution.
And starstruck, Donald Trump's Hollywood memorial under attack on this Thursday, the 27th of October, 2016.
This is Sunrise on 7 with Koshi and Sam.
Hello, thank you for joining us this Thursday morning. Also coming up this morning, hair-raising legal battle. The Sydney teenager going to court over his mullet.
Good evening to you and welcome to the show. First tonight, more shocking revelations in the South Australian family daycare scandal. Since our investigation aired last night, more whistleblowers have come forward exposing further allegations of corruption and abuse of public money. Most concerning, though, are claims that children's lives are at risk, and despite numerous complaints to both police and state ministers, the company says it's all a pack of lies. Hendrik Gout continues our investigation.
Now here's Today Tonight and Tina, a heartwarming house clean-up.
Yes, Sam, this was one of the worst trashed houses we've seen, and the owner had no idea how she was going to clean up. Enter some guardian angels, a group of men with troubles of their own, determined to give back to society. Here's Mark Gibson with this remarkable makeover.